Good morning, welcome to my channel. My name's Gavin Boyter. I'm a writer and occasionally a director of short films, music videos and feature films. And I just wanted to talk to you today about this channel and how it's going to change, because you may have noticed some changes already, those of you who are regular viewers or subscribers. And if you're not, one thing you can do straight away is hit the subscribe button, and then you'll know when I have some new interesting content. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of go through the changes that you'll see in this channel already and happening in the future. So the first thing to ask is, well, why did I start this channel? Now, primarily I started it to sort of inspire me to get into writing short stories again. So I started with this random word challenge where I would look up 5 random words on this website, and then I would write a 1,000-word short story, and I would refine it, and then I would record, make a video and put it out all within a day, and then I would do it again the next day. And I did that, I think, well, I've done 140 odd stories, but I think about 120 of them fulfill those criteria of being based on 5 random words. I gave up the 1,000-word stricture after about 85 videos, I think, because it was just too challenging, and at some point I stopped doing it daily because it was just impossible to keep up a normal day job whilst doing this. But you know, it's great fun. I've had 30 published, which is pretty good, I think. It could be more, but I've sort of slacked a bit with sending them out, and I'm going to get back into that, I think, because I'm not as rigorous as I used to be with sending stories out, so I need to get back into doing that. But yeah, there's going to be some changes. I'm expanding the content, the scope of the channel and the content, so it's going to become a channel for all my various forms of creativity, hopefully to inspire other people who have different outlets for their writing and their creative work, that, you know, it's okay to write short stories, design board games, shoot short films, make music videos, whatever you do. It's all part of the same process, and so it doesn't really make sense to compartmentalize it and have, for me, it doesn't make sense for me to have one channel devoted to short stories when there's a whole bunch of other stuff I do. And you know, let's be honest, part of this channel is here to promote my work. You know, it has to be. That's what writers have to do. They have to sell themselves these days. They have to have social media presence. They have to produce content of some sort. They have to sell themselves. And partly because publishing is struggling a little bit, the physical book publishing of physical objects, it's expensive, and marketing is very competitive and very expensive, so writers have to do a lot of that. And there'll be some videos about that, you know, and my thoughts on how much fun it is to do your own marketing. But yeah, there's going to be some new kinds of content, and you will have already noticed some music videos appearing. A long time ago, I had a very short-lived career as a music video director, but it's great fun while it lasted. A blip in my career, but an interesting one. So I put a couple of videos up there because, you know, they're on the internet, and I think one of them has nearly 1 million views, but from the record label. And it has nowhere on it, of course, any credits given to who directed this video, who wrote, because music videos, for anyone who doesn't know, it's not like an ad. You aren't given a script to film. You're given a track, and you're asked to come up with a creative idea from scratch. So everything you see in the music video is, you know, there may be some collaboration with the band, obviously. There may be some collaboration with the record company, the management, possibly, and the music video commissioner, who's the person at the record company who arranges for music videos to be shot. But basically the idea is sold on the strengths of the creativity of the director. So effectively every music video director is a writer-director, because they have written a treatment or a concept for a music video and then made it happen. So I think there ought to be more crediting of the people behind music videos, you know. Music video credits, directors need to be better known. And I'm quite proud of, you know, at least 2.5, maybe 3 of my videos I'm really proud of. Other things went wrong with some of the later ones, and probably that's why I didn't get many of the later commissions. But my first 2, I think, for what I had to play with, I think are pretty good. So they're up now at the moment. You'll see a Primal Scream video for an album track that was through a competition. It wasn't a single. And then there's my first proper video for the song Lavinia by the New Zealand band The Veils. It was their first video. It was the 19-year-old lead singer's first time singing in front of a camera, and the brief was challenging as well. They wanted to focus just on him, not the band, and he was very nervous. Anyway, I might do a video talking about my experience doing music videos for anyone who would find that helpful. So there'll be some trailers of any feature films and other projects I'm trying to get together. They'll be hosted on my site because you've got to host them somewhere, and then the links sent out to whoever's interested in watching them. And if you want to know a bit about projects I'm working on, then you'll see trailers for forthcoming things. Book extracts. I've already done some readings from some of my books, 3 of which are about long distance running, and 1 of which is a collection of short stories. I've done readings for everything except from my first book, which I might do something from. I think I'm allowed. I might have to check with the publisher, but I think I'm allowed to do that. And there will be discussions about different kinds of writing. I'm going to do some more discursive pieces about things like novel writing, screenplays, treatments for music videos, that sort of thing. There might also be some discussions about directing, going from being a writer to a writer-director, because that's a very interesting creative process, very challenging in a whole range of different ways. I have mixed experiences in that realm, and basically how directing relates to writing and vice versa. I'm going to try and do some more interviews, hopefully with fellow writers, and my focus is probably still going to be on how they got their first novel published, because that seems to be a good place to start, and then broaden out the conversation from there. And lastly, there will be some pieces about writing as work, because what I do in my day job is I'm a content and copywriter. I write content for various websites, various clients around the world, and it's about, I can give some insight onto how that works, how you get into that line of work, and my experiences, what makes a good brief, how to research, that sort of thing. I might do some pieces on that. And then there will be, lastly, I think I said last already, there's also going to be slightly more of these sort of discursive, diaristic pieces, just giving a bit of insight into my life as a writer, because people like that stuff, I already did an unboxing video, for example, about when I got my self-published running book, Run for the Hell of It, which is available on Amazon. When that was delivered, it's just fun. It's one of the best times in a writer's life is opening a box with copies of their book, seeing it in the flesh, in their hand. It becomes a real thing. This is a culmination of years of work, potentially. So it's quite an exciting moment to share with other writers and anyone else who likes unboxing videos. And there will be more how-to things, how to do various aspects of writing, and a twist on that, how I did certain things, because it's not necessarily the case that the way I do certain things is the way that you should do certain things, or the way that people would choose to do certain things. So that I can only really give my personal insights and experience on certain aspects of my life and work as a writer. And this is not an exhaustive list. There may well be other things that I come up with to write and talk about and share with you. I'm open to requests, so if you have any ideas, I would like to hear more from people who are watching this. I mean, I've looked at the stats, and it's still a very high percentage of people who don't subscribe but do return to watch videos. So if you're one of those people, just hit subscribe. It really does help. I'll talk about the algorithm in a minute, but it's an endless battle. Big news, which I need to mention, because you'll have noticed a certain sparsity in the backdrop. I am going to be moving. I am briefly relocating back to Edinburgh, and then I'll be thinking about a further move. I basically, life in London is expensive for a writer, for a creative person. And given that I can do my job anywhere, potentially anywhere in the world with Wi-Fi, it doesn't really make sense anymore to live in one of the most expensive cities in the world. So I will be relocating at some point next year, once I've put some thought and time into finding just the right place. And that might well be part of my story, which I'll describe in this channel. But yeah, at some point you'll start seeing videos from an entirely different place, which features in the very beginning of this channel. So we'll be back to where we started briefly for an interim period of a couple of months. Yes, the algorithm, the joy of the algorithm. To make a YouTube channel work, you need to build a following. You need to develop a rapport with the audience. You guys need to sort of be interested in what I'm saying and to find my content useful. So I need to think harder about what you would want. And it would help if you would tell me. So please do leave comments saying, oh, I'd love to see a video on this aspect of writing, or, you know, can you tell us how you should submit to a magazine, or just any aspect of writing that you find you'd like to know more about, that I might be able to help advise upon. One thing I noticed when I posted my Primal Scream video is that it got 200 views a day. I mean, it rampaged over anything else on my profile. And there's a couple of obvious reasons why this is. Primal Scream. They have a fan base. They have a huge fan base. So people were Googling Primal Scream video or the name of the song, Deep Pit of Morning Sun, and they were coming across this. Now that stopped after about a week. So I was getting 200 odd views a day, and now it's gone down to like 5 or 10. So somehow the algorithm has, either someone's stopped the video being shown in people's feeds or being suggested, possibly due to a copyright issue, because obviously I don't have copyright of the track. But on YouTube they have a leniency policy where if you use copyright music, you won't be penalized. Nowadays it's very unlikely that your video will be removed or blocked completely. It could happen, but it's less likely than some bands do it, but not many. What will tend to happen is that it will be demonetized. So I mean, very little of my content's monetizable, because you need to reach 1,000 subscribers. You need to also have umpteen views before you receive any money from YouTube. But even if I did have a huge subscriber base, that video is demonetized, so I can't make any money from it. I'm fine with that. You know, when you direct a music video, you get your fee. That's it. There are no repeat fees. There's nothing, not like, I think commercials directors do get repeat fees, and certainly feature film directors are supposed to get some money when their stuff is shown. Whether that ever happens or not is another issue. But I'm fine. I just want people to know that I directed that video. So I put it out there as an alternate source of a way to see that Primal Scream video, and the algorithm did very well for me, and then went don't know why. But it's instructive. I kind of did it partly as an experiment just to see what would happen. The Veils video, interestingly, so far absolutely strangled. I don't know what's going on. We'll see. It's only been a day. We'll see whether that picks up. So you can help the endless battle against the algorithm by subscribing, by liking this video, and by making comments. The YouTube algorithm picks up on 3 things: number of subscribers, number of views, well, about 4 or 5 things, number of likes, and number of comments. And the more you get of any of those things, the more your video is presented to potential other viewers or is searchable. All the tags that they used to have back in the early days of YouTube are essentially meaningless, and YouTube admit this. You know, the tagging has a minute effect. So I can write all the lovely keywords I like. The only ones that actually have any effect are Primal Scream, which I've put on the thumbnail, and that's probably what it's picking up, to be honest, and the name of the track. So to get any individual content creator's content out there, they have to have subscribers, viewers, repeat people who come back, and people who make it known that they've watched the video. So if you do that, if you like this, if you find it interesting, just hit the like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and it makes a huge difference. And get in touch. Yeah, just send me comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like. Let me know if this channel is a pile of shite. Whatever. I don't care. Just talk to me. I would also like your content. This hasn't really worked so far. I think it's because it's a big ask to say to someone, write a 1,000-word story based on 5 random words and record a video and upload it. So I was a bit ambitious with the original scheme. And also not everyone wants to be in front of the camera. So what I'm going to suggest is this. If you want me to potentially feature your short story, let me know, make a comment, say I'm in, I want to do it. I will then send you 3 random words. I'll reply in the comments with just 3 random words. All you have to do is write a 500-word story, which includes those 3 random words, hopefully inspired by them in some way. And you need to get back in touch with me. You can use the email address on screen now. It's fine. So yeah, use that email address, send me your story, and if I like it, I have to admit, there will be stuff that people send me I don't like, and I'm not going to be able to read everything. So if I do get hundreds of responses to this, which seems unlikely, but if I do, I'm only going to be able to do a few. But if I like your work, I will read it, credit you, and you can share it with your friends. There's no payment involved, sadly. Fame and fortune, but without the fortune. So anyway, if you fancy a challenge, obviously you'll end up with a 500-word story that you can send anywhere else. No exclusivity, obviously, no payment. So the story will be on the channel. I'll read it with the best of my ability, and then you can send it somewhere else. Send it to a magazine. I'll even tell you a few that publish flash fiction if you want. So yeah, if you're interested, one more time, here's the email address to send your story to. And yeah, that's really the end of my summary. So as I say, the channel is expanding, changing, mutating, and hopefully in interesting directions. And I'm just going to use it as a general nexus, a general repository for my creativity, because why not? In fact, I have a board game to talk to you about at some point. So there you go. That's a novel development. So there'll be a little bit of content about that. All I'll say is it's called The Wandering Wood. Anyway, so thank you for listening. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Get in touch, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.